Wasn't his answer Quantumania though?
No, his answer is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No! No!
And he's going to also bring something that a lot of the Transformers do not have.
Yes.
And that's practical effects. Yes, you can have the CGI. Here we go. You can have
Cardboard robot.
No. You can't point fingers and laugh about that because
This was the most infuriating round ever. There is no clear winner, but there is a clear person that you guys do not like. Clearly this. We're never having them on the same couch.
This is going to be the main
the same show.
Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Plot Armor, the show where we fight hard but fight fair to answer questions about movies that you love, hate, or know nothing about. I'm your host Caleb Janssens, and let's start meeting our guests. Our first one from homeschool days to the lens so slick, with earrings that pop and edits that click. Everybody give it up for Vincent Potgieter!
Oh yeah, good to be on this side of the mic where I can host. Well, now I'm not. I got that wrong. This time I will roast and not host. So I look forward to seeing what you bring, Caleb, as host of this episode.
With a keen eye for style and a love for the screen, she's the expert on trends and movie scenes. Give it up for Kendra Hyman!
Yay.
Finally, with stunts that thrill and a ponytail that steals the show, he's the one you want when the action's set to go. Give it up for Shane Comley-White.
How's it, everybody?
Cool, so let's go through the rules quickly. They are incredibly simple, but we'll go through them anyway, just in case any of you have forgotten since the previous episode. The rules are simple. 3 contestants face off over 5 debate topics. Each round runs 10 minutes, and the host awards a point to the most passionate debater, the one with the sharpest argument and fiercest rebuttal. After 5 rounds, the top 2 scorers enter the speed round showdown. 5 rapid-fire questions with just 20 seconds to argue and 15 seconds to rebut. The overall winner gets crowned main character of the episode, while the other gladiators fade into obscurity as the extras. So before we carry on, I'd like to just thank Tibadine, who we can all see our drinks here.
Hell yeah.
This is, let's all take a sip quickly.
Yeah.
I just spilt it all over myself.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you can get some ASMR.
So this is raspberry spritzer. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What's a spritzer?
It's this.
Yeah, whatever a spritzer is, I like it.
It's
It's
this.
supposed to have champagne in it.
It's supposed to have champagne in it, but we do not drink on the job.
So I use sparkling wine instead.
Well, thank you so much to Tibadine. We are very, very, very grateful for that. But we're not here to drink. We are here to debate. So let's jump into our very first question. It goes without saying, we believe that movies are awesome and a cornerstone of our culture. But naturally, there are some films that should just have never been made. Whether it's because of the negative impact they had or just because they're so damn bad. So we ask you, what movie should be erased from ever having existed? Vincent, we'll start with you.
So my answer will be controversial in some spheres, but be very on point in other spheres. So my answer is The Wolf of Wall Street. I took this question quite literally. I imagined a world in which my film does not exist, was never created, was never dreamt up. That is a world with less crypto bros and dudes who saw a cautionary tale as an opportunity to snort cocaine off of things they shouldn't. And I honestly think that yes, it was aimed as a cautionary tale, but they indulged so much in the points they were trying to make that they ended up creating more of the thing they were preventing. So I think it was a net negative of a movie, and it was quite exhausting to watch, and it was quite... it made me feel sick watching it. I've never been able to get through it, and that's a good reason for it never to exist.
Kendra, what was your answer?
My answer is not so long-winded. I think it speaks for itself. Guys, the nightmare fuel that is Cats is horrible. It's a cinematic train wreck. What in the furry was going on when they thought, let's take this classic and turn it into utter... You can bleep this up.
And then finally, Shane.
All right. Controversial because people like this kind of genre as well, but I'm going to say Longlegs. Longlegs to me was a complete waste of time. It was a movie that they try to do so much with it, but they failed on every turn that they try to push to the audience. And in my view, Longlegs is it.
Okay, well, let the fight begin.
I'm going to jump in.
Oh, here we go. Great.
So I'll quickly break down why I think your two answers don't fit the answer. Although I must say, I do agree with both of you. Like, I would love if none of these movies existed. My problem with Longlegs is it had an incredible marketing campaign. Yes, the movie it marketed ended up not being that great, but I think it inspired a really good approach to marketing that we're not used to, with building that suspense and building that excitement to see what's to come.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the movie should be made. If the marketing campaign is great, fantastic, that's marketing, not the movie.
Why would they market something that never exists?
Because they want to try and make as much money as they can by selling something that is not true.
Yeah, okay. Then I'll quickly say on Cats, of course, it's terrible. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. But it gave us cat buttholes on humans, and we need that. So that's the one thing. And second of all, I think it's a good cautionary tale on why musicals should be made with care, musical adaptations. And what did we get after Cats? We got Wicked, because I think they learned from Cats. I think Wicked would be a worse movie if Cats never came out. I'll pause there to let my fellow combatants.
I'd like to start with, if your constitution was too weak for Wolf of Wall Street, how did you stomach the cat buttholes? Let's talk about that.
It was a good focus point, whereas Wolf of Wall Street's all over the place. So it gave me something specific to look at. I'll leave it there.
We don't need to keep cats around as a cautionary tale when we could just remember the lesson and move on. Ultimately, look at the cast of Cats, guys. Legends. Absolutely cinematic legends, to the point where they were so embarrassed by their association to the movie. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Everybody just wanted to forget that this happened. It was an absolute disaster. And above and beyond that, imagine having so much talent and your movie falls so flat. That's just a testament to how much it purely sucks.
Possibly, but at the same time, let's put it this way. How many people could have actually seen Cats on stage? So it gave them an opportunity and a chance to actually see it as best as possible, and they tried to make the best possible movie that they could have. But for example, I never got to see Cats in London. I would have loved to have been able to go and sit there, watch it on stage, and actually indulge in that kind of music, which is fantastic. So they still had the good music that was part of it. You might not have liked the way it was presented or anything, but it was still a fantastic adaptation for something that most of the world can't get to see live.
So your point is accessibility, and to that, I would rather watch a Broadway version of it on YouTube that actually speaks to the masterpiece that it was intended to be, as opposed to a second-rate CGI hot mess of half furry, half human cats. Also, let's even talk about, why are some of the cats clothed and some of them naked? I'm extremely confused, very disturbed. It's not a good situation. I don't even need to explain what type of suggestion that leads to with the fact of them looking like furries, guys. It's literal nightmare fuel.
I think both of you are making good reasons why. Well, I mean, Kendra's making a good reason. Haven't heard much from Shane. Been real quiet since I rebutted him. But I will say that
Really?
you're giving a good answer to why your movie is a bad movie. But I think I'm giving a better answer as to why my movie should never exist. Because what's the point of movies? To bring joy into the world. I have not laughed as hard as I have since I watched the Cats movie, because it is a joyful abomination. I had no love for the play because, as Shane pointed out, very few of us had the opportunity to. So I had no loyalty to it. And nothing truly evil came from Cats existing. Whereas Crypto Bros, that's the worst part of our times, man. That's all I'll say.
Your movie. Sorry, do you want to say? You go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go. Okay, I'll take it. Just to your note of, I had my train of thought and that threw me off.
Okay, let's let Shane take over.
Okay.
While Kendra finds her train.
All right, so when it comes to Wolf of Wall Street, it had a meaning behind it of greed, power, indulging in stuff that you shouldn't have actually done. And if you watch that movie, you can pick up on those in quite a broad scheme of things, okay? But you have to understand the industry that they referring to, which is the financial world. And if you don't, then it might not resonate with you. So it might be resonating to the right people. So it doesn't mean that it's a movie that should never have been made. They could have maybe done it in a different way. They could have pushed it out to a different audience in a completely different aspect. But maybe for you, it shouldn't have been made. But that's only you.
Okay, buckle up, guys. I hope you're ready. We're gonna
Right,
go.
moving on. Hey.
Point number one: Martin Scorsese masterclass. It's top tier directing, pacing, editing, narrative structure taught in film schools. Erasing The Wolf of Wall Street is erasing cinema education. And to your point, what are you talking about? Like, you should just apologize for that being your answer right now after me saying that, right? It's satire. It's not a celebration. It critiques greed and excess. Yes, you're completely right. I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, but I feel like it's misdirected. If some bros misinterpreted it, it doesn't mean that the film didn't do its job. That's like blaming Breaking Bad for having a Walter White. Not done. Career highlight for Leo DiCaprio. He didn't have an Oscar from this performance, but he did get a Golden Globe. And on top of that, people definitely think that it pushed him towards that Oscar nomination that came after in Revenant. Margot Robbie's career launch, second last point. If you erase this film, you erase Harlequin, Barbie, you erase Margot being that girl. Is that really what you want? I don't think so. Jonah Hill's Oscar nomination with prosthetic teeth, no less. He improvised the goldfish scene. That man literally risked it all for the art. And just to top it off as a bonus, that infamous chest bang from McConaughey was completely improvised, guys. That only comes from really like believing in what you're doing. Tell me what the cast of Cats believed in. Thank you.
Do I roll into final argument or do we
Not
have
yet.
some
You
time?
guys have about a minute left of just playing around.
Okay,
taking
so what
each
I
other
will
down.
say is Martin Scorsese has directed better, Leonardo DiCaprio has starred in better, and Margot Robbie is better than just a one-hit wonder. So I think her talent was good enough to launch from whatever she was going to be in next. It happened to be Wolf of Wall Street. And yes, I understand it was intended as a satirical thing, but you learn in these masterclasses of directors that the intention of the director and the artist actually doesn't matter, because what you end up learning is that how it's perceived by by society is usually what it's taken from. For example, take something like Joker. That was a societal thing. Also a great movie, but it launched a ton of bros who's like, we're gonna crumble society, no idea what they're talking about. So I think what you're left with is more important than what was intended. And I think taking that away from Martin Scorsese's filmography, taking that away from whoever was in that movie's filmography doesn't eliminate them. Because no one was launched from that movie in ways they either wouldn't have from other things or that they haven't been starred in other things before that. And second of all, I think that it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth for all those people in that movie. That I'm very happy we haven't heard anything about Longlegs, so I'm not going to touch too much on that. I think the marketing was good, and I never want to erase a movie that gives us an opportunity to see Nicolas Cage do some crazy shit, good or bad. Because even Wickerman was bad, but I would never want to lose Not the Bees. So that's that. And with Cats...
let's pause you there. I would say either you can take this
I'll
opportunity
turn this
to
into
turn this into...
I'm
yes.
happy to turn this into my final argument. And then I'll end with Cats. I think I am so happy to say that Cats was a bad movie. I'm so happy to say that everyone in it knows it was a bad movie once they've made it. Don't know why they didn't know before they made it, but that's fine. I think I just want to specifically look at the question, and the question asks, which movie should never have existed? No harm, no foul with Cats still existing. No one's careers were cancelled after Cats. They were fine, and they went on to do greater things. It just made the world a better place for being a cautionary tale that lands, whereas Wolf of Wall Street was a cautionary tale that missed.
Well, Shane, let's get your closing remarks.
I'm going to say Cats, still a fun movie. If you love the music, you can still enjoy that vibe of it. Sometimes a lot of the stuff that we talk about is all about audio. So if you don't want to watch it, so cool. Just listen to the music. It's all good. Wolf of Wall Street, still, it had its merits. It had its space and its place to be. When it comes to Longlegs, they were trying weird and wonderful things from other movies, like, for example, Silence of the Lambs. They tried to use some of those concepts that they used in that movie, but they failed. Majority of all the different elements that they had in that movie were failures. Even Nicolas Cage, I love Nick Cage, I love his movies. Spoken to his people, and they are great, amazing people. The problem is it was a complete failure on his side, and I think it was more of an embarrassment to him to play that role than what everyone actually thinks it was expanding on his career. It's not actually. In my view, he was trying to be comical, but at the same time devious and evil, and he couldn't pull off both.
Well, Kendra, let's get your final remark on this question.
Okay, I just want to give some love to Longlegs very quickly. Quick fire, a breath of fresh air in horror, right? It's a genre drowning in remakes and jump scares. So Longlegs actually innovates and haunts. Why erase something original, right? So Nicolas Cage doing a creepy icon behavior, something we want to see, right? We've seen it in like Renfield, and Cage has entered his weird excellence era, and I personally feel like I'm around for that energy. Horror is meant to disturb, right? Is that not kind of the point? If you were creeped out, congratulations, my friend, because it worked, right?
Disturbing.
Okay.
Boring.
Okay, sure, right. So that's why I think Longlegs should not be erased. And then to my point of Wolf of Wall Street, it's honest about excess. I feel like it did shed light on bro behaviors, on different industries and things like that. But if you erase Wolf of Wall Street, you're erasing a generational experience. And arguably, people can relate to it, whether it's good or bad. People feel seen, people feel heard, and people are, most importantly, entertained. Are you not entertained? I sure was. So
Time
this
is
was
up.
the moment. Damn it.
Darth Vader says time is up.
Damn it.
Cats is also a generational moment for her.
Damn it.
Oh no.
So I will say this. It was very difficult to actually judge this one because
Yeah, you
everyone
brought it.
was
Well done.
actually
Well done.
facing an uphill battle except for Vincent, because that is one of the few films I truly believe should be erased. So technically, by default, I wanted to go with Vincent just because of his answer. Where the rest of you caught up is Shane did an excellent job of actually rebutting and rebutting. Thank you. I remembered how it looked in my head. I just didn't remember what the word sounded like. But you brought up excellent points against Kendra specifically, to the point where I was like, damn, there are not enough papers on that couch to rebut
And there are a
rebut
lot,
what you were
ladies and
saying.
gentlemen.
But on the flip side, Vincent gave arguably his worst debate I've ever heard by his single point of cat buttholes,
Which is a single point.
which is a single point. I think for winning me over by, in many ways, Kendra like blew me away with the detail of her answers. But I think
well
the
done on that.
strongest opening argument was definitely from Vincent's, because he also looked at the real world implications of such a film existing in the first place. However, I will give this point to Kendra.
Well done. No, it's well done. Well done.
You lost it at cat buttholes.
It was worth it.
You
It was worth it.
contradicted
It was-
yourself.
that
You
one
walked in and
single
you said,
point.
I said A, but I mean, let's backtrack.
If I can do this over 400 times, I don't think cat buttholes will be excluded from it. Also, never thought I would lose due to anything due to a cat butthole. So
I think
we all
should,
learn.
I think we should all know less about each other.
I agree. Yeah. Guess you guys look at different stuff in Cats. Wait, Cats the movie or just the animal? No.
Okay, well, let's tackle the next question then. Unfortunately, it isn't as controversial to say that the MCU just isn't what it used to be anymore, with flops coming more and more frequently. But there is still an argument to be made that some of the films in the franchise receive more hate than they deserve. So tell us, which MCU film is the most overhated? Kendra, let's start with you.
Guys, Thor 2. Can we please stop hating on one of my favorite men in the world? And this is not just about his looks, right? Let's go. Essential law establishment. This movie was integral for the MCU storyline. The reality stone is introduced in this film, right? It becomes one of the 6 core Infinity Stones. This places things in the map for the universe and for the storyline to further unfold even in other people's, you know what I'm saying? So the second thing that I also really like is complex character development. This was where Thor and Loki weren't just rivals. We got to see that bond between them as brothers. We got to see them also grow from the loss of their mother and we saw Loki's arc go from villain to anti-hero, and then he was loved and hated, and people loved to hate him, and then suddenly they loved him. So to the high stakes and emotional depth that Thor brought, her death was, I think, really, really pivotal, to the point where even in a later movie, they revisited it when they went back in time. So apart from just that one movie, there were so many other instances where it overlapped into to the universe. So just because you think the humor wasn't up to your standard doesn't mean that it deserves the hate that it got.
That was a very good opening statement. And Shane, what is your answer?
Ant-Man and Wasp. I think it is getting too much hate. They're trying to discredit all the little bits of humor, and maybe it might not land as well as it does in the other movies and the other MCU franchise films that are out there, but it's still lighthearted. It's fun, it's witty, it's got a little bit of childlike behavior that goes with it, because you're imagining that you're this huge person, and male or female, that you can shrink down to this tiniest little creature and you can do whatever you need to, and it's incredible. It's fun to be able to enjoy that child imagination that gets brought back into your world itself. There's a lot of elements that go with it that people do overlook, and I do believe that it is a movie that shouldn't have actually got so much hate like it does.
Okay, and then finally, Vincent, let's hear your opening statement.
So, I think mine, and as is all of our answers, quite controversial, but the answer I've chosen to give is one of the movies in the MCU that I probably enjoyed the most. It's really in my top 10, if not top 5, and can you believe it? It's a post-Endgame movie. My answer is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I loved this movie for a myriad of reasons, which I won't cover all of them now, but what I will say is it's one of Sam Raimi's best movies, and yes, I know he did the 3 Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, but I think this oozes creativity from the piano fighting scene, which is arguably one of the coolest fight scenes in any MCU or superhero movie. The fact that it actually gave us a fun multiverse to play around in, as opposed to all these other superhero movies that just make us feel sick of it, and the fact that it kind of balanced the fan service with story well. It balanced new characters with old really well, and it gave us probably the best horror of any MCU movie, which is really nice to say because you don't see horror in an MCU movie, but that there's like a couple of jump scares in Multiverse of Madness with Scarlet Witch, which really made me go, ooh, and then I was like, yay, I didn't expect to feel that. So my answer is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Fantastic. Okay, well, let the fight begin.
Okay, it had the multiverse in the title and barely exploded. I call that bait and switch. 2.5 universes does not a multiverse make, right? Let's start there. Wanda's arc was completely butchered. After WandaVision, they turned her into a child snatching villain in less than 10 minutes flat. The movie itself, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where was he even? Was he even in the show? Like, I mean, you know, he was there for a blink of an eye and gone. It was basically Wanda's world. That's what they should have called it, actually, as opposed to Multiverse of Madness.
So what I will say to that is neither Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame have Thanos' name in the title, and he's arguably the main character of those films. And what's so good about the film is, as I'm sure all of you would argue, is when you have a strong villain, a villain that almost steals the show, then that makes the movie so much better. So many great movies are remembered for their villains. So I don't mind that Wanda kind of shares the screen, which I wouldn't say she takes over completely. I would say she has at most a 50-50 relationship with Doctor Strange, screen time speaking. That being said, I mean, you really get to know him way better. I think the scene of him being in the church, seeing his loved person get married to someone else is a very poignant and emotional scene, and seeing him move on from that to see what other worlds have to offer is a really interesting scene to explore. I think it's definitely more than 2.5 universes as well. I really love them falling through all these different universes, seeing this opportunity of what happens in each of them. But, and this is a controversial point, but if you watch something like Beyond the Spider-Verse, no, it's not Beyond, Across the Spider-Verse, you'll see that sometimes more is less, where you don't need to explore a million universes to get a feeling of a multiverse. Give me a glimpse of a few universes and then tell me a story of a couple of them, and I feel satisfied. One of my most frustrating points of multiverses is they explored so many aspects of it. Sam Raimi was able to utilize the individual aspects of certain multiverses in a way that really made me feel it played really well to his style.
I want to let Shane speak.
Why?
I want to hear what he has to say.
Don't put me on the spot like this. When it comes to villains, you're bringing up villains. I think that is one of the one points in my movie that I'm speaking about that people kind of argue against or don't like, because there isn't a very big dominating villain in this movie. So
In fact, I can't remember who is the villain.
That's the
in
thing.
your
So
movie.
it's actually not a
Brilliant.
massive big thing, but they keep saying, "Oh, there's no villain. The villain wasn't a great villain, whatever." It doesn't actually matter always about who the villain is, in my view. It's sometimes about who the two characters and what their role between each other is, especially when they're teaming up and doing something together.
So nothing you could get from any other movie Ant-Man's in.
Maybe not.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
know,
It's so
because
funny
you can
that
actually get it from
it's
other
so
ways.
funny that you guys want to go on this villain tangent. So, I mean, why not? Let's go, right? So, Kang was reduced to exposition and post-credits bait. He was supposed to be the next big threat. Instead, he got jumped by ants. Real Thanos would never, right? And then let's talk about the fact that Doctor Strange wasn't even the main character, like I said. And to your tone or to your note about his character development, he risked the multiverse for a teenager that he barely knew while judging others for the exact
He did that
same
twice.
thing.
He did that in Spider-Man
So
2.
we both know that he's a cynic, and now they're here forcing me into a box. I didn't see any character development that justified, like, that made this believable. They just said, here's a character that we want to include. How do we make this relevant without adding any value? That's what it came across as.
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned villains as well. I can't remember who's the villain in Thor 2. And what I do remember, I confuse with Hellboy 2 because it's just a bunch of dark elves real mad at the universe, which arguably genuinely is one of the worst villains in an MCU movie. And I will say to you, I do think Thor 2 is overrated. Overhated. I do think it is a better movie than people make it out to be. But it is, like your movie, a worse movie than the one that came before and a worse movie than the ones that came after. Whereas my movie is the only movie here that to improve on its sequel, on its predecessor. Because Doctor Strange 1 was a mess of a cult and not knowing what it wants to be, and Doctor Strange 2 oozes style, where yours feels genuinely like the filler episode in a long TV series, and yours is so forgettable that she confused Ant-Man 3's plot with Ant-Man 2. So that has to count for something.
But that sounds
Okay.
like a her problem. Not mine, okay? If you're confusing movies, that's definitely not my argument. But my
No, it is,
argument
because
here-
your movie blends in with all the others.
No, but it doesn't
Wait,
matter.
what's his
That's the
answer,
thing.
Quantumania?
No, his answer is Ant-Man and the Wasp. But Kang sucks, I agree.
But I'm going to say this. I'm going to use this as part of my closing, okay,
Fantastic.
if you don't mind. Both of you started
Shane's outta
your
here.
yeah, kind of with this one. Both of you started your arguments with something that doesn't actually relate to the movie itself. It's all about your fangirl of who you really like.
No, that's all you listen to, because I
That's-
followed up with
but
3 to 4 more
that
points.
was
So
your
if
very,
you didn't
very
hear that,
first point.
so
and
you
it's
also
like,
got
oh, whatever.
mesmerized by his beauty. I can't
No,
blame
I'm
you.
not. I'm not.
Can't blame you.
Okay, so I'm definitely not. But I'm just saying that that's what you started your argument with, which kind of means that any other point that you got from there was to justify your fangirl status on that particular character. Yours was about the director as well. So you really liked the director and everything that they went through. And again, you found any good possible point to justify your argument why you liked that director.
Who would you like to do the following closing statement? Because I'm ready.
Yes. Okay. Let's move on with clothing statements.
Next
Sorry,
question.
I'm busy looking at my own notes to
Okay.
keep my own mental scores.
I would say, and I'm building on a point I've made before. I think the characters in all 3 movies, except mine, has been done better in other movies. Thor was done better in Thor Ragnarok, and in Avengers Infinity War gave us the best version of Thor. Where Ant-Man was done better in the first Ant-Man and in Avengers Endgame. His best scene is the taco scene. Then my character, I feel, comes into his fullest in Multiverse of Madness, where he's kind of explored as a side character and in Endgame and Infinity War, but doesn't feature as much as he should. And in the first Doctor Strange, his writing is really confusing as well. They never played with the comic book style of using his powers. They just did the weird glass shattering thing in the first one. In the second one, they made him, he summoned zombies, he played with musical notes, he did all these cool things, which made me enjoy sitting in the cinema. There's no way you're not just going to watch these 2 movies on Disney Plus. No way.
And finally, Kendra, yes, let's hear your final
Okay,
point.
so the law could have been introduced everywhere. Absolutely not. Only Thor's world ties into Asgard, dark elves, and cosmic stakes together in a way that no other film could. It was unique, and its narrative fit. And then to your point of the villain sucked, the villain wasn't about showmanship. He was about raising the stakes of cosmic destruction. Not every villain needs to be a meme. At least mine mattered, and we can talk about that just now. But say what you want, Thor 2 gave us Loki character development from Frigga's beautiful death and laid the foundation for the reality stone. Clunky, yes, but it had heart. And even if there were better Thor movies, at the end of the day, this one is still far, far overhated just because of its dry humor, just because it didn't tick everybody's boxes. People call it boring, but it's not that bad. Just less flashy. And unlike Ant-Man and the Wasp, it never tried to be something that it's not. The worst you can say that it's mid, it's nonsense. You can't say that it's not nonsensical, not messy, not tone deaf. It's functional. And that alone makes it the most overhated movie in the MCU universe where the multiverse of madness exists.
Flip, okay. So,
Where's
according to my
Fader?
notes...
How do I know it's over?
Yes, wait, sorry.
It's not over.
I forgot.
There's no signal that it's over. I don't know it's over. Okay.
now it's over.
Technically, the reason Darth Vader didn't come out is because Shane ended the round.
I didn't actually.
We will finish now.
I will say this.
I ended my round.
When a debate is 10 minutes long, it's not often that someone gives their final rebuttal at 4 minutes.
No, it's because he knew he lost. No, it was Shane, right?
It was Shane. So I have to say, in my notes, there is a lot of Vincent and a lot of Kendra, and exactly why the hell is Shane ending so early? So I would like to say, I would have liked it if you guys attacked Ant-Man and the Wasp more.
Yeah, you
because
see,
there
they
was
didn't. They had
there were
nothing to
not many
defend.
points. There were not many points raised. You should have just stayed quiet.
I was trying to, but then-
Guys, it was a
There
no-no
were
for
not.
me. I
There
mean,
were not
I
many
attacked
points.
it. I even said I don't remember the villain. And I
No.
said that it's...
You guys attacked it, but majority of the time was spent with you two just arguing over one another. And so what I,
I thought
will
it was
say,
like implied that he lost.
Oh, gee, thanks.
it was only implied. It was only implied that he lost when he lost it himself. What I will say to this is, Kendra has done an amazing job, and this is probably going to become the common theme throughout this episode,
printing out
unless you start doing some crazy third wheel stuff. But you are doing a great job of establishing good points.
I believe in you.
But you are
Don't
doing
listen to this bad boy.
Thank you.
But you're doing a phenomenal job of rebutting every single point. And so this time, I'm going to have to give the points to Vincent because everything
very much.
Kendra
Thank
said,
you.
Vincent had a great answer and then very often a rebuttal against Kendra, and she didn't get to all of those. So I would like to say, Vincent, this one does go to you. Please don't eliminate yourself early.
You got this. Don't concede.
You were winning.
Someone has
You were
to.
actually winning because no one said,
I know.
just don't
But
eliminate
both of the
yourself
movies
early.
now.
Okay.
Jeez.
So let's move on to question 3.
Here we go.
Up until Bumblebee, Michael Bay was alone on the director's chair for the live-action Transformers film series. But with the new directors like Travis Knight and Josh Cooley having had the opportunity to have their own voices present in the beloved science fiction franchise, we ask you, who should get the next shot at directing a Transformers movie? Let's start off with Shane.
Oh, great. Thank you. Here we go. All right. The person that I feel would be the best director for this kind of movie itself has an understanding of movies that no one else can ever compete against. They understand the narrative. They understand the depth of a movie. They can bring any script to life in a different way that is unreal compared to most of the other movies. And to bring a Transformer movie into this kind of world of what he does, I think Christopher Nolan will be the ultimate director that can rule any movie that he gets and make it an epic style movie going forward.
Fantastic. And then Vincent.
So I chose a director that you'll see once you've heard all these answers fits the genre the best. A man who knows action, a man who knows spectacle, and a man who knows how to get butts in seats with buckets full of popcorn, ready to have a good time on a Friday night. I chose David Leitch. This is the same director that did Bullet Train, Deadpool 2, Fall Guy, and as you can see, these three movies have one thing in common. A kick-ass time watching an amazing action movie with big explosions. Doesn't that sound familiar? Big explosions, action. Michael Bay, that's right. But he does it better because guess what? Deadpool 2, Fall Guy, and Bullet Train, controversially, is better than every Transformer movie that's ever come out. So why not give that? I'm talking about live action. Relax, Caleb. So let's give him a try because I think he's the future. He's the future of action movies, and I think he's going to give us the best time. Not let's watch this movie in 3 parts, reversed. The beginning's the end, and the end's the beginning. Nothing. No funny nonsense like that. I want a straightforward Transformer movie where the Transformer gets the Transformer girl at the end and the bad guy dies.
And finally, Kendra, what's your opening remark?
Okay, cool. So I said that the director should be M. Night Shyamalan. Transformers is sadly broken, guys. Shyamalan is not just a director, he's a rebuilder. He turned low-budget films like Split and The Visit into sleeper hits. I mean, everybody knows Split and loves it. Imagine what he could do with the billion-dollar sandbox, right? Narrative depth and complexity. Shyamalan doesn't just blow up stuff, he builds tension, emotion, and story. Transformers needs that soul injection desperately. I'm so enjoying your laughter next to me because no, because to your point, let's just tense your hee-hee-ha-has here in the corner. To your David Leitch point, right? It's so convenient that you left out that he also co-directed John Wick, and fast forward, stay tuned for what's coming
I'm
for the
saving
next
myself,
question.
okay?
Because I think a running theme with you is you tend to have your foot in your mouth because you say one thing and do another, and then you think I'm not going to remember. So we're going to hold on tightly to that one. Because you yourself don't even believe in your own director's works. Thank you so much.
See.
Back to my point at hand, iconic plot twist. Imagine a Transformer who's been secretly human or a villain revealed to be a victim all along. Groundbreaking stuff, right? That's the emotional whiplash that the franchise needs. Revitalizing reputation is what Transformers needs. And Shyamalan revived his own name, and if he can do that, reviving a giant robots franchise is light work. So take that as you will, gents.
Can I please start?
I will let you. I didn't know we were fighting each other.
I want to start. Okay. So, to this point, I believe the most expensive movie ever made was about $400 million. Let's give the guy whose only 2 action movies are After Earth and Last Airbender $1 billion. That should work. The twist being that humans are robot all along. Yeah, that happened in the best Transformers movie ever, Revenge of the Fallen. So maybe let's not do that. Your answer's Christopher Nolan. That's like saying, hey, Gordon Ramsay, will you quickly cook my mom's spaghetti in the microwave?
No, I don't
You're
think
not
it
going
is
to
that.
give Christopher Nolan a Transformers movie.
No, but you see, he's not
going
gonna
to do a shit job.
No, he won't. What he'll do is he'll actually transform the movie.
Into a piece of
That's
shit.
what I said.
No, but he's definitely going to take that movie and actually improve on every single aspect of that movie.
Give me an
Not-
example.
Okay,
I'm calling your bluff.
audio. Okay, score. The score.
Transformers already has the best audio
listen.
ever.
No, listen. The score of that movie will become so deep and so powerful that he knows exactly how that is going to move the viewers. Then he's also going to be playing with the storyline that goes with it. So not going to be this typical, we're going to fight, and then the typical...
Oh no, I don't want to watch that.
Okay, that's what they all do. There's going to be more depth, more meaning, more message that goes with it. There's a lot more heart and soul. Okay, and he's going to also bring something that a lot of the Transformers do not have.
Yes.
And that's practical effects. Yes, you can have the CGI. Here we go. You can have
Cardboard robot.
No. You can't point fingers and laugh about that because you are going to have the CG work of the robots, but the rest of the movie can still be practical. And a lot of it now has just become CG. So all you got is these few people running on a green screen treadmill, okay, having all the robots fighting behind them and buildings falling all around them. But now let's make that
He's
real.
going to blow up New York.
Exactly. Take Christopher Nolan's film method, okay, and he makes it real. So he's going to take something that has become so generic,
So excited to hear what you
and
just
he's going to make it real.
Thank you so much for solving all those problems that never needed solutions. I
They do need
really
solutions.
appreciate that.
Because
Okay.
they're boring. CG's so boring now.
Christopher Nolan is way too serious for Transformers. He would turn this into a philosophy class with metal punching. Nobody
it's
really
needed.
needs to see that. Nobody
But
needs to see
it
that.
might be needed because it's old school now. It's
No.
been done so many times in
Not
so many different
everything
ways
needs
and
to
all
be
these
about
kind of CG
time.
action movies.
Watch BattleBots. Watch that movie, that Hugh Jackman movie, man. If You want to see metal punch each other?
No, I don't want to
That's
see
the
that.
type
I
of
want to
level
see
that
something
you're
with
looking
heart
for.
to it. No, I don't want to. You're misunderstanding me.
This
I
is an
don't want-
advanced alien race you're
Yes.
talking about.
So make them advanced. Make their mindset advanced.
And
make
Christopher Nolan can do that.
Yes, he can.
Oh, okay. Terrible at writing emotionally rich characters. I really look forward to see how he can advance this race even further with
I
that
don't think
skill
he's
set.
terrible at that because look at Oppenheimer, look at Inception, look at all those incredible
Robots
movies.
can't cry.
Let's
Doesn't
be
matter about the cry,
honest.
but what about the human element in that movie?
They're robots.
It's not all about the robots, it's about the humans as well.
So he has very complex stories. I will 1000% give that to him. However, where it falls flat with the characters is that they feel like chess pieces in a logical puzzle.
Yeah.
You don't get emotionally invested in them. You don't root for them to
I
win.
disagree with that.
Okay.
Transformers needs empathy and connection and emotional stress.
So all
I'm
of
gonna
Christopher
let's put a
Nolan's-
pause to this.
Okay, wait, hold on.
We
Before
had
you put a pause,
no.
hold on, I've got to say
I will
this.
give you a chance to speak. I will give you a chance to speak. But we have spent a lot of time talking about why Christopher Nolan is a bad idea. So let's tackle somebody else for a moment.
So, let's go. David
Yeah,
Leitch.
take.
All style, no story. Leitch's movies look good, but they really make you feel anything. We don't need that. We don't need another empty calorie explosion fest. We've been there, we've exploded that, we've seen that. Got the t-shirt done it. Transformers is not just hand-to-hand combat. Leitch excels at ground level gun fu style fights. John Wick, which you guys need to remember for later, Transformers are 20-foot alien machines from space, an advanced alien race. I said this. You can't John Wick your way through Cybertronian law, babe.
So,
Wait.
I mean, even no,
My
this
brain
is my
is
no,
full.
this is my,
You guys need to give me a break. I'm catching up on my notes.
no, this is my closing argument. I'm happy.
Okay, fine. Okay, are we going to enter closing arguments now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Rarely,
We will enter closing arguments now.
okay. Rarely do I feel less of a need to give any more thoughts in order to win, but I will because I am a giver, and for that reason, I feel whatever Kendra and I put together to take down Christopher Nolan is enough said. I really don't feel more needs to be said there. Which is
Talking about
crazy.
cardboard robots. No,
It is
that's not
crazy
enough. That's
that
not an
I would
argument. That's like
rather
a-
see M. Night Shyamalan ruin another beloved franchise from your childhood than Christopher Nolan doing anything with it.
What were your beloved M. Night Shyamalan franchises that you watched in childhood?
So Avatar, The Last Airbender, is probably the most ruined childhood
But I
thing
touched on that.
ever.
He revived himself most. We said this.
Never
That's
in the
old
action
news.
genre.
That's old news.
Split has hints of action, but is full on drama. And even when he comes out, he continues that franchise with Glass. It fell flat again. So M. Night Shyamalan, he peaked for a little bit. Let's look at the last movie he did, which was, I'm blanking on the name, Trap. He is literally, it's a great acting job by not David Arquette, what's his name? I'm blanking on the name, but the main actor in that. But it is not a good movie. He is past his best days, and I love what he came out with. He was so good when he started. People called him the next Spielberg, but those people also then turned into the SpongeBob meme saying, "Man, this guy stinks." So I just don't think that either one of you two could touch Transformers in the way that David Leitch could, because this is his bread and butter. And we want safe, fun Transformers. We don't want artsy-fartsy nonsense.
Okay,
Okay.
Kendra, please end this.
To your point of not wanting artsy-fartsy nonsense, I think that David Leitch is too quirky for his own good, because Bullet Train was quirky to a fault, and you so proudly mentioned that. I don't know if it was during recording or prior, but if we apply that tone to Transformers, we're one step away from Bumblebee doing a TikTok dance, guys, while narrating his trauma, right? Lacks directional range. David is great. He's found his niche and it's narrow. Shyamalan can do suspense, sci-fi, horror, and emotional drama. Leitch just guns, gags, and gravity-defying stunts, right? And then back to Christopher Nolan. Back to Christopher Nolan. Over-engineered plots we touched on, that action that's hard to follow. Things are so intense and deep, guys. Don't lie. We all had to Google Tenet explained. I still don't even understand
I don't
it.
understand it
I will be blatantly honest. Nolan's action is cerebral but often incoherent. We don't want to pause the movie to understand why Optimus is moonwalking through a temporal loop, right? That's not what we're here for.
Bumblebee! He's getting sitting in his spaceship. Bumblebee!
Exactly. Exactly. In closing, if Michael Bay gave us chaos and explosions and Travis Knight gave us heart with Bumblebee, then M. Night can give us something this franchise has never had. A mind-bending, genre-defying, cerebral Transformer story that actually makes you think, feel something, you get a love story.
And get confused.
While robots punch each other in the face.
They were never really robots.
Chef's kiss.
Shane,
Thank you.
Shane, please give us your final statement.
Oh my god, still have to do mine.
Okay, that's it. No, I'm joking.
That's terrible. That is so rude. Okay, so Michael Bay, fantastic director. Yes, I really think that he is one of those that are in the action genres along with Bruckheimer, and they are the ones who made Transformers. And I'm just looking at the little figurine here, and it's inspiring me a little bit. But the thing is, do you want the same old stuff, or do you want something that has a little bit more depth, has a little bit more breathing room to grow, and the ability to actually fall into the same kind of trend that Christopher Nolan has of being nominated for many multiple Oscars in movies that he's directed and been part of. So in my opinion, if you want someone that's going to actually bring some value to the industry, value to the people, no, don't you dare cut me off right now. I think that Christopher Nolan is one of the guys that can actually pull off whatever he's been given. That's it. Thank you.
Caleb, you need to be more unbiased. I don't even know who you like there, but compose yourself, sir.
Guys, this was the most infuriating round ever. So, let me say this. There is no clear winner. But there is a clear person that you guys do not like. Clearly this. I will say, you guys...
It's Christopher Nolan, not Shane. I don't...
I love Christopher Nolan. I just don't think he's the right choice.
She just doesn't like me. You see, she just didn't.
So, I will say this. They did a fantastic job of ripping Christopher Nolan apart.
Jeez.
And the points you did try to raise as to why he would be a good director felt like they did not land specifically in the vein of Transformers. I understand why you were saying it, but...
It's hard to get your point out when someone's talking about cardboard robots.
The cardboard
point. No, it wasn't.
I guess it was fun, though.
I would like to say this. You two, holy smokes, it's like... I cannot type fast enough. But what I will say is, you chose a very unorthodox choice in M. Night Shyamalan.
I almost chose it. I'm not going to lie. I almost chose M. Night.
And so you, in many ways, were fighting an uphill battle. And so if this were a David and Goliath story, then that would be fantastic. Unfortunately, we're doing a debate show where very often if you just give a good answer and can defend your answer, that's enough to win. And I think that is the case here. Vincent gave us a very good director. He explained why he liked his director. And while you did give some decent points, I felt his rebuttals against the points were greater. And a lot of, from everybody, we became so emotional.
It's okay, you can be honest. You can't give me another third point in a row. Let's even it out.
I will say this. I do believe the winner for this round is also still Vincent.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
You should have brought up Dark Knight. That was
about to. I was going to bring up all the others.
No, because that's where he actually used like an actual beloved, comic book franchise. Could have done the same thing.
So let's move on to question 4. Let's just remind everyone of what the points are. It is currently 2 to Vincent and 1 to Kendra. Okay. Question 4. We love mythical creatures at Plot Armor, and rarely does it get as ferocious, as awe-inspiring, as epic as the dragon. So we just had to know, what is the best movie dragon? Vincent, let's start with you.
This morning, very early, I couldn't sleep. I was so excited to be here. I woke up and I asked myself, what is a dragon? Is a dragon more man or beast? And I thought, a dragon is a beast with honor, a beast with code, and a beast with intent. A beast that you can't just walk up to and say, what's up, let's go. It needs to let you in, it needs to trust you, and take to the skies from that point forward. And what dragon has all those characteristics more than than Pete's dragon, whose name is Elliot, which is a really cool dragon name, not something pretentious. and I think it's just the best movie dragon. The funny thing is, I've loved. This is genuinely not some funny gimmicky answer. I've the 2016 version of Pete's Dragon is the first dragon I saw where I was like, holy shit, I love dragons now. And there's something about its wild nature, about his like that distrustful element due to humans being in their human nature, and where that turns to a ferociousness, and that turns into an absolute loyal friend to the little boy, and just I love what he personifies, and he brings something different. He doesn't just do the traditional dragon thing with the fur and the invisible factor, but I'll go more on about it later. I speak from the heart here. Elliot from Pete's Dragon 2016.
What's the little boy's name?
Little boy.
Is it not Pete? It's Pete's Dragon.
If the argument was what's the best little boy, I would have lost here. But luckily, it's about the dragon.
That's a very concerning question. We should all know less about each other. I don't need to know who's your favorite little boy.
Not Pete, apparently.
Okay, Kendra, can you please let me know your favorite dragon? Or
Yes.
favorite movie dragon?
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, or lady and gentlemen, and everyone in far, far away, let's talk about the dragon that redefined the fantasy genre. And to your point of, is it a man or is it a beast? No, guys, she's a really cute girl. A dragon who gave us sass, strength, style, and storyline. The girl dragon from Shrek is not just a dragon. She's a cultural reset. While other dragons are out here breathing fire and being moody mascots, she was out here flipping tropes, saving the day, and marrying a literal icon. I mean, come on, what do you mean? So let's talk about, she's a subversion of the monster trope. Every other dragon, scary, evil, or beast to slay, like we said, right? Shrek's dragon, feminine, fabulous, flirtatious, and still dangerous. In classic fairy tales, the dragon is a fearsome, soulless obstacle, but in Shrek, she's a fully realized character. A dragon with emotion. A dragon who said you can be terrifying and tender. The duality of it all, iconic. She flipped the script and made audiences rethink how femininity and power coexist in fantasy features. She had a career. She was a ferocious dragon who protected a princess in a tower for many, many years. Then she decided, oh guys, time for something new. I'm gonna go out and find love. What did she do? She transcended the boundaries of species to find a mate who was a donkey.
Not getting to know each other.
Who was a donkey. Love is love, guys. Love is love. She transcended species, and not only did she have emotional, romantic character development, she even had babies. She made little hybrid donkey fire breathing dragon situations going on. It was insane. There's a lot more that I have to say, but we have lots of time to unpack, so it's fine. But ultimately, I would like to say she's strong, she's ferocious, she's a career woman, she's a mother, she's also the heroine. She has saved the day many, many times by literally eating. We're going to unpack that in a little bit, so don't worry about that. In closing, if you disagree with me,
already.
you must hate women. No.
Wow, okay.
If you disagree with me, you must hate women.
Okay, Shane, please tell us why you hate women.
I never said that. Wow. Sure, okay. So you're talking about dragons that are confused between humans and animals and all that kind of stuff. My dragon that I'm going to go for is someone who is actually on a mission to survive, living in a world where they're being hunted and killed off as if they are being fished out of the sea, right? And they are a dime a dozen. There's so many movies about dragons that are powerful and angry and vicious and whatever, but at the same time have a little bit of heart for these dragons, because my one is from Dragonheart, and the dragon is Draco, and it's got an amazing person who voices this particular dragon once you find out that he can speak, and that is the late Sean Connery. Having someone like Sean Connery actually portray a dragon with that voice of his, that passion that he has, I would say the best adaptation of a dragon that's ever been on screen is Draco.
Fantastic. Okay, well, let's get fighting.
I had the last chance.
All right, I'm going to say, Shan, you are advocating for a dragon that unfortunately settles for an arse.
And that's fine. And that's fine. And she lives a happy life.
That's as far as she can go. Is that the height that she's got? Shame. That's
No,
so bad, because in all honesty, you're going for the lowest of the low. Why couldn't she find someone who's better than that? Why couldn't she find a zebra? It's much better than it's better than an ass, okay?
I hear you.
Or something a lot better, like a lion. Why not go for something that has power, that has the ability to work with her, rather than someone who just kind of has these puppy dog eyes and kind of just goes, yeah, okay, whatever.
Thank you so much for that, my friend. That's a testament to her emotional depth. Right there.
Oof.
Right there. Because
That's not that deep, though.
Because no, it's exactly that deep. Because why not a lion? Why not something that matches her energy? Because you also just strengthened my point that she is a ferocious beast, and she needs someone to match that energy. However,
So she's dominating over something that has absolutely no power whatsoever.
their love
So
dynamic.
she likes being a dominatrix.
Their love dynamic is not my concern.
There's a lot of chains involved.
That's
With all the
her.
chains, exactly,
Yes.
and the dungeons and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Sure, that's a little bit dodgy.
What she likes to do with her partner after hours is not my business. I
But
just
clearly,
think
because
it's
you brought
very
it up, you
important.
brought about all the little babies
I
that
think
they made.
I think it's really important to note that if she could have had another dragon or a lion or whatever, like I said, testament to her emotional depth, she made an actual connection with an arse. Be it
Maybe
so,
her
who makes her
attitude
laugh, guys.
Turned away all the other
Funny guys
prospects.
win. People always ask why nice guys finish last. It's because you're not funny.
That's right. Have you seen my wife? Okay, my turn. Okay, I have to say, I do feel I have like two kryptonites for a leftward argument. My first one is, please name your dragon.
That's the point.
I
That's
know
the
a
thing.
name. I know a name. Do you know a name?
I googled it, and she doesn't actually. No. She doesn't actually have a name, and
Elizabeth.
that's yes, but no.
No.
It's not defined. It's not defined as Elizabeth.
No, I am the fact checker.
Google
And I
it.
have already fact checked this. Her name is not Elizabeth.
She's not
Donkey
given a name.
does shout out the term Elizabeth.
Okay.
In
but
relation to a
it
meme.
is- no, it
In
is.
relation to a pop culture reference of
It's a pop
Elizabeth
culture
getting in the
reference.
car.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm
Fair.
very well
No, well
researched.
done, well
if you
done.
couldn't tell by the masses of pages around me, I don't know what.
That was my cheap one. I have an expensive one. So the truth is, I see your argument for a feministic approach for the dragon, and I like it. I think it's flawed because, first
You
of
hate
all,
women.
yes. But besides that, no, I'm joking. The first point being, the moment she gets married or whatever they are, she stops doing anything except be the wife. Second of all, she literally
women
her
who,
only-
who don't do anything besides be the wife have no purpose
No,
in
the
life.
point being, it doesn't
Shock
argue.
horror.
It doesn't argue anything because
Shock
she
horror.
does nothing except.
So
serve
stay-at-home
as-
wives are unexceptional?
No, she does nothing except that in the movie.
Was your mom a
And-
stay-at-home wife?
No, my wife is not either. So the second point being, her only purpose. You said it's not just another dragon being like a defender. Whatever. Her only purpose is to defend the princess. She doesn't make any decisions in the movie whatsoever. Everything that happens to her is based off of someone interacting with her. So, for instance, she reacts to Lord Farquaad. That's why she eats him. She reacts to Donkey. That's why she falls in love. So she doesn't have emotional depth. She fell in love with the first jackass that showed. So the true emotional depth is Donkey, because Donkey's the first ever person, whatever, to respond to her in other than just big monster. And that's why she fell in love with him. It was not her emotional depth that made her fall in love. It was him. Why are we arguing the emotional depth of a dragon?
Fantastic. No. Thank you so much. Back to your earlier point about the fact that she has no name. A nameless dragon has pioneered in history as the only female dragon with lashes that breathes fire. And we all know who exactly I'm talking about when you say the girl dragon from Shrek. She doesn't even
Of
need a
course.
name. She doesn't even need a name to be memorable. Thank you so much for that.
Not necessarily,
And
because
she-
there are also female dragons from Game of Thrones.
They do
Yes, and that's
There we
fine,
go.
but that's a series, isn't it?
Yeah.
A plot armor for
But it does
movies.
have.
Thank
They
you.
do have
Fair enough,
names.
fair
enough.
All the
They do have
dragons
names.
have names.
She only exists as Donkey's love interest. Crimea River falls. She had her own arc. From scary guardian to literal savior. Falling in love doesn't define her. It humanized her. And unlike dragons who just destroy things, she protected her squad, helped topple a monarchy, and became a mother. What a multi-dimensional queen. She didn't just fall in love. She ate and found time to save main characters. To my point of, she's actually a heroine. Shrek and Donkey didn't defeat her. She joined the team, right? Let's not forget, in the climax of Shrek 1, Lord Farquaad, when he was about to ruin everything, who stepped in and saved the day? Care to add? The dragon, she ate literally and
Plot
figuratively.
twist.
She isn't just comic relief or a pet. She's a full-on team member, a protector, and a ride or die.
She's great, but she's not a good dragon. And
No,
this
it's
is
not
why
the
yours
best
isn't
dragon.
either. Yours isn't a good, because it's not
Mine
what's the
actually
best
isn't.
character, it's what's the best dragon.
No, it's the best dragon.
She does nothing dragonistic after the first Shrek. Your movie, the problem with it is it's the most pathetic dragon I've ever seen. A dragon that schemes and argues, and that stupid scene where he's got his sword stuck in his maw, that made me hate that movie.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, and also, the grossest thing I've ever seen in a dragon movie is this little heart flap, gross chest vagina the dragon has. that was disgusting.
I had that in Lord of the Rings as well.
Yeah, but no, that was a
Hobbit.
But that
Where they
didn't
shoot
choose
Black
small.
Arrow.
Maybe I would have said the same thing. The thing is, it's an outdated movie with
Yeah, look, it's
outdated
old.
references.
It's old. It's
and
but
it's a dragon that schemes and has no power. He's weak and he's
No, he
hiding.
doesn't scheme.
There's
The
no
thing is,
scariness. There's no epicness. Elliot's dragon
fighting for his
takes to the
survival.
skies.
So having someone to actually fight for their survival, okay, I think that's got a lot more power than someone who's just aggro. All right, so he's actually roping in the human who has a little bit of heart for him as well, and
Yeah,
they
half a
work
heart.
together, and then they kind of survive because they have no other choice, no other option.
Okay.
So
This is the big final move of the movie.
yeah, no, fair enough. And then he sacrifices himself.
Those who know
He sacrifices himself, and that is the
Yes.
ultimate sacrifice. So if you can have a dragon that has the willpower to, or the urgency to survive, okay, and to stay alive, because the rest of his kin are completely destroyed and been hunted and
Pathetic.
Okay. Oh, shame. So what? But the same thing is survival. He then sacrifices himself because he feels that that's the thing he needs to do for the people that he, or the person that he loves now and classifies as his own family now. So ultimate survival changes over to sacrificial. So I think he is the best kind of character or best dragon that has done any more than any other dragon on any kind of movie that there is.
Wrong. Let me tell you why.
No, I would even say that donkeys.
You don't like donkey.
Yeah, no, donkey's okay, but donkey's dominatrix I think is a little bit of a problem because all she does is take control and then become a little bit of a soft kind of whatever mother figure to these weird, strange hybrids.
But that just shows that shows how multifaceted she is.
I will beat
fine.
ass if you guys don't shut up.
Oh, sorry, what did you, Caleb?
Kendra, please, your
Too much.
closing remarks.
Okay. While Draco's sacrifice is noble, the Girl's Dragon story is about self-discovery, finding love on her terms, and breaking away from being pigeonholed into a stereotypical dragon role. So if you thought that was going to add you points, no, it didn't. Her independence is just as powerful. And then to your point of Sean Connery, the Girl Dragon, voiced by Jennifer Saunders, brings a level of comedic depth and surprise, making her not just a companion, but a seal stealer. Scene stealer.
If you seal stealers, it's up to you.
A scene stealer, which adds more layers to her character than just being a heroic mentor. Guys, like I said, I don't have really much more to say. I've said most of it already. She doesn't even have a name. Honestly, if you need a name to be remembered, you're not iconic. She's the Girl Dragon, and everybody still knows exactly who she is. Meanwhile, people still call... Okay, never mind. That's an irrelevant thing. Irrelevance, it's fine. The Girl Dragon just didn't breathe fire. She breathed life into what it means to be a dragon in modern cinema. She's the only dragon who's funny, fabulous, and fierce, and family-oriented. She's the only dragon who didn't have to talk to speak volumes. She's the only dragon who pulled a whole donkey. So to me, that's a flex. To you, that's not. Potatoes, right? The Girl Dragon isn't just the best dragon. She is the moment. Thank you. And she looked great while doing it.
Vincent, let's go to you.
The girl with the dragon tattoo was more iconic than the girl dragon from Shrek. I understand you make a good point for why she's a fantastic character. Unfortunately, the question wasn't the best character, it was the best dragon. And to say these are the reasons why she subverts everything I expect to see from a dragon makes her a good character and a good story, not a good dragon. Because a good dragon is something that fulfills these desires that you want to see in a dragon to the maximum while adding some fresh takes on it. I believe that the best dragon has to be one that you're not scared to approach. And if a donkey can tame it, it's not a scary dragon. Draco was tamed by a toothpick.
She did kill a lot of people, I would like to say. Please don't
She
minimize
did.
all the great work she's
But we
done
never
so
saw it,
far
so
just
who
because
knows?
she's a woman in love.
Who
Thank
knows?
you.
Your dragon was tamed by a toothpick. Mine took the love of a little boy, and an entire town's army could not tame him. And also, like, if you had to ride on one of these 3 dragons, you're absolutely going to be on Elliot. Also, no one even attacked Elliot, and your time's already up. Your turn.
No, but my dragon is pink. She basically looks like a remodeled Cadillac, guys. She has a custom paint
Your
job.
argument is you are saying that this is the best dragon. I'm going to actually pull a little bit from what you're saying there. The question is, who's the best dragon? Your dragon has become so
you're riding
humanized.
his coattails. Oh,
yours has
how
become
rich-
so humanized that it actually isn't a dragon anymore. It just looks like a dragon. So maybe it's not even a real dragon anymore. Yours, unfortunately, is a...
And that
not a
heart flap is
powerful-
so realistic, hey?
Not a powerful kind of character. So what if there's a heart flap? You know, how is he going to get to the dragon's heart? But at the same time, I think the best dragon is something that has a bit of fierce nature to it, has gone through battles, has a ton of scars that has to deal with, and at the same time falls for compassionate empathy or sympathy for someone who is out there and actually...
You're too late.
No ways.
No, let him finish.
But I will
And
let you say
ultimately,
2 more sentences.
thank you.
2.
Ultimately sacrifices his life for someone else. Your dragons haven't.
So, what I would like to say in this regard, we're never having them on the same couch.
This is going to be the main
Same show, please.
So, what I would like to say is that I have a lot of notes.
Are you a feminist? Do you support women? We'll find out shortly.
Because you have tried to put me on the spot, you lose. I'm joking. So, where I will say, Kendra, where you did a phenomenal job is talking about why she is a strong female representation. But if you took out the fact that this was a conversation about a dragon, I wouldn't have known that we were talking about a dragon at all. And so while I love the points you raised, she could be a cat for all I know. So unfortunately, from that point of view, you
What's
don't
a butthole? Okay, sorry, continue.
and you've lost another point. You should have a mental note every
No
time.
buttholes. No buttholes.
Where I would also like to say again, Vincent, you are so good at coming up with reasons why other people don't have the best dragon, but you did a not so great job of explaining why.
I agree.
Why Elliot?
Right.
I don't know what Elliot can do. You said he soars above the clouds, and that's all I know. And at one point you mentioned he turns invisible.
I
which is
forgot
cool,
about that again.
which is cool. But I don't know anything about Elliot besides the fact that his name is Elliot, which is more than we can also say for the lady dragon from Shrek. Where I would like
it's
to
a
say,
girl dragon.
oh, is it the girl dragon?
The girl dragon.
The girl boss dragon.
Yes. Also, fun fact, like now that the round's over, in my research, I found out that there's a like extended lore or canon that she was actually a cursed princess.
Oh.
And the princess they were referring to that was in the tower had blonde hair, but then they found the dragon and then Fiona. So Fiona actually wasn't the princess. I think she was just hidden away by her parents. And I think the girl dragon was actually the original
But
princess.
there's something I wanted to say on that. Just
then
if
she's not a dragon.
I know, but I'm going to build on
It's late now. I kept that inside.
I'm going to build
Yeah.
on that lore because remember when in Shrek 2 they drink the potions and you never know what happens to the girl dragon because Donkey drinks it and then there's an effect on the lover as well. So maybe she turned into a princess for a little bit. Just a one.
Would you not be disappointed
So
if you
that's
got your
bestiality.
humanity back for a few hours?
That's
It's
bestiality. then.
Shrek, we're fine.
So I think she thought that Donkey might have, because Donkey could speak, she probably thought that he was also cursed. And if they were
that's
going to
interesting.
kiss, that he would break her curse. But that didn't happen. She ended up falling in love with the ass in any case.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay,
That's cool.
well, you come here to hear debates about dragons, and then you hear more facts about Shrek too.
Imagine that.
One. Continue.
You came out flipping, swinging,
Yeah.
Sean Connery.
fighting against Kendra and her stupid dragon.
Did I say stupid? That doesn't say stupid.
I'm just adding some spice.
Also, I have like 3 dragon tattoos, guys. I have like 2 actual dragons
the
and
girl
1
with the dragon
Charizard.
What I would like to say, from an all-rounded point of view, I think this round does go to Shane.
agree.
He raised the best
That's
points as to
fun.
why he is the best actual dragon.
Yeah.
I feel like Dragon got lost in this conversation about dragons.
No. Pete's dragon Elliot got lost in this conversation.
So, with that, we are currently sitting at 1 point for Shane, 2 points for Vincent, and 1 point for Kendra. One more category. Final question.
For speed round.
Okay.
I'm very nervous.
Yeah, no, you're secured for speed round.
Yeah, I'm secured.
Okay, guys. Question 5. These days, walking through a cinema or checking film release schedules will show you that studios absolutely love a sequel. But that doesn't always mean that we as the audience do. And with so many of them present these days, we ask, what is the most unnecessary film sequel of all time? Let's start with Kendra.
Okay, cool. So, guys, The Mask 2, Son of the Mask. What was the reason? What was the need? No Jim Carrey. Let's start there. We all know and love the original The Mask that featured him and Cameron Diaz, that also probably set the tone for her career as well. Why would you make a rerun or a sequel and take out the main reason why we loved the movie in the first place? No Jim Carrey, no point, right? The original Mask was lightning in a bottle. Jim Carrey's manic, elastic performance was the movie. His comedic timing, facial contortions, and Looney Tunes chaos brought the Mask to life. And then what do they think? Oh, you know what, guys, we should do? Let's make a sequel without the Mask guy. That's like making Black Panther 2 without Black Panther. Oh, wait. But at least that had emotional depth. Son of the Mask has Alan Cumming in Green Foundation. That's it for me.
Okay, fantastic. Shane, let's jump into your answer.
Fast and Furious. How many are there? I've actually lost count. There are so many Fast and Furious movies out there. You don't know which car is faster than the other anymore. You don't know where they're flying on the ice or going under the water or flying over bridges, battling tanks. It's gone completely AWOL. And I must say that number one was fantastic because it was unique, it was special, different. You saw the trick driving that they did where they went under the trucks. That was something incredible. Then you saw the drifting, and then you saw Tokyo Drift. Those three, I would say, are the best. Anything over that or be past that, I think it's just overkill, and all they are trying to do is rake in as much money as they can off a franchise that has the same kind of concept every single time. A little bit of a battle, driving fast cars, cool. Add in The Rock, makes it a little bit better. It draws it out a little bit longer. But it's the same stuff the whole time. There's nothing unique about any of the Fast and Furiouses.
So what are you cancelling?
Everything past Fast and Furious 3.
That's not even the question, though.
Yeah, wait. So it's still
What
me. It's
is
still
the
me.
most unnecessary sequel of all time?
I still haven't given my answer, right?
Yes, you need to open
You
a
haven't
statement.
given your answer yet. I'm going to allow all sequels past.
Sure. 3 being Tokyo Drift, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
All sequels past number 3.
Okay.
So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10
And
are
Hobbs
all,
and Shaw.
And Hobbs and Shaw.
And the next
and
ones that
the
they're
Netflix
making.
series
Thank you.
are all gone.
I mean, hear me
Wait,
out, though.
I still have
Like,
to answer. I
if
still have to
Vincent
answer.
still has to answer.
Can I go?
Yes.
Okay. I humbly ask my dear contestants and my host to hear me out, as I understand
If we have to.
I am battling uphill for this one. But there is a reason for it, and I do fight sincerely. Now, my answer is John Wick 2. Whoa, viewers, I know. What I want to say about it is, I do know this is a beloved movie. I am not actually arguing that it is a bad movie either. I am a bit of a technical man in the sense that I did want to dissect the question, and the question was, what is the most unnecessary sequel of all time? I think, although it a good movie, takes away completely from the first one. The whole point of the first John Wick movie is that he was gone forever and he's back, to take revenge. This time it's personal. They killed his dog, they wrecked his car, his wife's dead, he's pissed. And he's going to take revenge until the last man is dead. And he does it. He goes scene for scene, amazing action, some of the best action we've seen in a very long time, kills all these people. And then we keep seeing more. And then I ask myself, but doesn't that completely take the foundation, the heart, everything out from the first one? Because the second one just makes us... It's literally got Fast and Furious issues where it says, one last time, 4 more times.
I don't...
And that is why I feel John Wick 2 is the most unnecessary. I do have points on both of you. Should I go into that, or should I...
No, let's do this. Now you may fight.
All right, I'm going to say, I'm going to
Shane.
butt into this one if you don't mind.
Yes.
You saying his whole motive was to eradicate all the assassins.
Yeah.
In a world of assassins, that's almost impossible. So for the fact that he finished off a certain sect of assassins more came out for him. So what did he have to do? He had to go back and carry on fighting. So he was pulled back into it. It's not the fact that, oh, it's done, and now he's just going to go out and kill more people. He is actually being pulled or roped back into the world itself that he tried to get out of. He got his revenge for his wife and the dog that the wife gave him, and again tried to retire and tried to disappear into the shadows, but again got pulled straight back into it. So I don't think it's an irrelevant sequel. I think it's one that actually shows how vast the world of Assassins is. And think about it, how many different countries or continents have those hotels where all the assassins can be kind of safe. It's a safe zone for them, all right? So that means there's hundreds and thousands of assassins in a world of assassins. So it's not irrelevant because of that point, in my view.
Yeah, I can elaborate, but you go first. You.
To your points about I feel like it's very funny that you both chose such long franchises. And I think that if you were going to go against the grain of the question, I would have much rather have preferred to see in The Matrix Resurrection as one of your answers. If you said, hey, if number 2 doesn't count, let's just count number 3 onwards. I think that also weakens your argument in itself, because you're saying the top 3 movies or the first 3 movies were definitely worth continuing. So 7 movies thereafter that made billions of dollars.
It doesn't matter about the
overkill?
money.
Okay,
That's
so the
not
later...
what the question is. The question is what's irrelevant almost. What's
It's the most unnecessary sequel.
which is almost irrelevant.
It's not
It's not
unnecessary
about their
because
money.
Fast and Furious provides massive entertainment value. There's so many things that you can think about, whether
it's the
it's
same
cars,
stuff.
family,
And it's
romance,
unrealistic.
heists. It's not realistic, but I mean, that's
Definitely
the
not
fun
realistic.
of it, right?
And the thing is, it has the potential to allow people to go out and attempt some of those stunts, which are very dangerous. Okay?
Oh, stunts man!
No.
Stunts man!
No. But people who train the stunts are completely different. But those that are general people from the general public that want to go and do that, cool. The amount of danger that I feel that Fast and Furious has actually brought to the world is actually bad. You go to Soweto and you see all the people doing all the
I'm
donuts.
jumping in my turn.
Movies don't have to be realistic. They need to make you feel something.
Okay, I my turn to say
a borderline.
something here. So, here's my Slayer argument against
Let's see.
Shane.
Okay.
2 things. First, you kill the best Fast and Furious movie, which is Fast 5. And that
Yes, is that the one with the
definitely-
height?
Yeah, that's the one where they
The
pull
Brazil
the
thing, yes.
That's by far.
Insane,
When that
insane
came out,
one.
I was like, holy shit, I like Fast and Furious now. Did not care about the others.
Number
Then-
1 was the best.
Then you just want Paul Walker to die and not have a closure. So your version of it, he just gets hit or he dies in a car crash and then doesn't get to
Question,
have his...
what happened to him?
You kill a very good song featuring
died.
Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa. That doesn't exist anymore.
No, fair enough. The thing is,
And-
they've got all those added elements that got brought into it, yes. But if they didn't have the greed element to make as much money as they could off the franchise that is kind of unnecessary.
Was Avengers Endgame not made from...
That- to me, yeah, it's a little bit too much.
Remember, you're not erasing these movies from existence.
Unnecessary.
You are just saying which one is the most unnecessary.
Exactly.
But
Okay,
I would like
So
to. I would like
I never
to say
said it
that.
must be cancelled completely. I just felt that it's pointless to have gone so far with so many of the same kind of movies.
Okay, I want to turn to The Mask. So the Son of the Mask.
Yes.
So it's terrible. It's
Yes,
horrible.
we're aware, yes.
But it shows you, holy shit, Jim Carrey's good. That's why I like it. Because you think, okay, cool, just cast the next guy. He'll do it. He's a successful upcoming comedian. We'll throw him in. Oh, we can't do that. And where did they do that elsewhere? They also did a sequel to Pet Detective. There's Ace Ventura Jr. And that movie is also trash. And do you hear people complaining about it? No. And it just shows you how good Jim Carrey is. There's this weird trend of people making sequels to Jim Carrey movies with terrible actors. And you look at it and you go, damn, Jim Carrey is good. So it accentuates it.
We
showcasing
already
him,
know
yeah.
Jim Carrey is good, though. This is not new information. I don't need an entire new sequel without him there for me to think about his absence and be like, oh, you know what this movie needed? Jim Carrey.
But at the same time, that
Completely
movie
pointless.
was
What's the
actually
point of
made
it?
not for adults. I think that movie was made more for the younger generation. So adding in some kid who would love to have put on that mask and have those special powers.
I don't
That's no
advocate for this at all.
Exactly.
That's
But-
no excuse.
No, but
Invite
it is
the
an
demons
excuse.
into your
because-
life.
So then why make any fantasy movie? Because someone would like to have those, but go on that kind of idea of this cartoon character. Same as Who Framed Roger
I
Rabbit.
love it. I'm so sorry. I love that point, but made for kids, that's no excuse. A shift in audience doesn't mean a downgrade in quality. Spy Kids was for kids and it's still iconic. I love the girl dragon from Shrek. I'm probably one of the biggest consumers of kids' movies. Son of the Mask insulted the intelligence of all audiences, including children. The humor was off, the plot was absurd, and no child was out here saying, let's rewatch that cinematic mess again. And
Actually,
then
a lot
to
of
John
kids
Wick.
do, because I know some kids that actually want to watch it multiple times.
Here's my question though.
Okay,
You loved Loki.
To John Wick.
Yeah, Loki in Thor too, but you don't love him in Son of the Mask. You're all over the place.
No, I love him as a character. I love him as an actor, but I think that was a poor choice for him in casting and given the script and. Sometimes people make bad choices. Maybe he had money issues. I don't know what he was going through that he decided to downgrade himself to be in that movie.
But you see, what you're also trying to say is your point of don't have another movie that's kind of pointless and it's not necessary and all that kind of stuff is exactly the same as what I'm trying to say. Everyone's trying to make movies off an original. Yes. And off that original, they try and make multiple more movies just out of greed, in my opinion. They want more money from something that was a success. So by replicating it in different ways, they're hopeful. Unfortunately, or fortunately, let's say of your argument, they stopped after that. Okay? Well, they might have had the dog with the mask and all that.
Because I want to restructure my argument just to make it the whole unnecessary thing. We're not erasing it, I understand. But that's saying that probably the most real-life mirroring a goodbye in a movie is unnecessary. That's probably one of the most necessary goodbyes we've ever seen in cinema because it was a real one.
But we wouldn't have got to that
Paul
point.
Walker go one point, and I felt this was a really necessary way for us to say goodbye to him in this franchise and in the real world. Which other actor has gotten that opportunity? That was super necessary, and that counts because it is after Tokyo Drift.
So was it planned? That's the thing.
Yeah, they killed it.
Exactly. So the thing is, they only were able to do that because of a tragedy that happened.
But they did it.
Fair enough. But the thing is, why did they have to go 3, 4, and 5 to do that? All right. They could have stopped at 3, and then they could have actually. They could have done something else. They could have done something else to. I want to say memorize, not memorize. Memorialize. Paul Walker. They could have done something unique instead of doing the same car chase, the same action, the same group of people getting into the cars and flipping those cars in so many different ways, which are so not real. And I just think that they are unrealistic, and I think that's what ruined it. Some of the storyline could have been good.
You ended good there?
I'm all right.
End while you're ahead.
Is that his final closing?
That is not his final closing. I'm going to say, Kendra, please can you give me your final closing argument?
Oh, I'm not ready for final closing,
Yeah,
but I mean, let's go. I haven't touched on John Wick at all, so we're going to quick fire this very, very quickly.
You don't need to. I had a terrible answer. You said the Matrix thing, and that was great.
The Matrix was deplorable. Anyways.
No, it was not. There's so much story to the Matrix. But you're not actually talking about the Matrix.
I don't want a love story. I want to see Neo.
You guys are arguing about the wrong movie.
That's why I said
Okay, John Wick 2. It pushes the storyline forward in a meaningful way, furthering the conflict. Son of the Mask doesn't push the story forward at all. There's no need for it. It takes the original's movie premise and ruins it with an unfunny, pointless plot about a baby with magical powers. It's tired, a rehashed concept that no one needed or asked for. John Wick 2 also expands the universe and deepens the characters above and beyond that. So while it expands its own world in John Wick, Son of the Mask expands in the wrong direction. It takes everything that made the original Mask fun and replaces it with convoluted plot and childish humor, making it feel like a cheap cash grab rather than an essential follow-up. And then, to your point of Fast and Furious, there's the movie's tapped into global themes and had greater emotional stakes, and it engaged audiences across different types of interests, whether you want romance, whether you want drama, whether you want crime, whether you want high stakes action.
That's good. You're on a great roll. You've taken too long to get to your conclusion.
Okay, in closing.
Let's give Shane a chance to close out.
Quick one, just touching on the Matrix. The Matrix has a
Wait,
lot.
why are you
No, because it's no.
Don't waste your time.
Fine.
Trust me.
I won't. All right, so let's say the movies that you're talking about, they can survive, but no, you got me flustered.
You should have taken more time to think about it while I was yapping.
I couldn't. You're yapping too much.
Multitask. Sounds like a you problem.
When it comes to the Fast and Furious things, like I said before, they are a little bit of a danger when it comes to people wanting to copy and replicate them. Okay, and it's out there. The second thing is it's all about greed. It's all about how much money can we take from a concept that's already been proven, that's already been done, and now let's rehash it again and again. Yes, evolve the story. That happened, cool, but it was unnecessary to get to that point. And even now, going on to number 9 or number 10, even further and further, they bring in all the different characters to try keep it more relevant and keep it more exciting, but at the same time, it's the same concept of people getting in these cars, driving fast. If you're a fuel junkie, cool. It's going to appeal to you. If you are liking The Rock, fantastic. But at the same time, come up with something unique. Come up with something different. And that's a lot of all these remakes that they're trying to make. Get over the remakes and come up with something different.
If it was so unnecessary, there wouldn't have been 10 versions of it.
Do the thing.
No, it's your turn to give your
Do the thing then.
He's given up.
He said... I never finished the John Wick series because I don't like it, but then he explained to me how the movie actually ends, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
You know what?
And then I just want to finish and say, then she said the Matrix thing, so don't count me for this one. They killed
yeah.
There is
no escape. The ironic thing is, even with the most ridiculous answer Vincent gave this round, he is still making it into speed round. So he's actually...
Yeah. I was like,
So he's got no.
I wasn't, no, but even if I wasn't, there's no way I would have won that one.
Yeah.
So I tried something.
Vincent tried to lose in a different
No,
way.
I thought I could do it, and then Shane explained to me what the story is
Yeah, and
about.
then you also proceeded to blow smoke up David Leitch's ass.
Yeah, no, but he only co-directed that one. He directed...
I don't.
Anyway.
It's done. You don't need to argue anymore. So what I'll say to this is, Vincent,
Hello.
you were there.
I was...
And
I had a good time.
You did speak. Shane actually ripped apart your whole argument.
No, he did. Well done.
Straight away.
Yeah, he did.
Kendra didn't even. She did touch on it, but she didn't even have to actually.
The
Shane
Matrix thing
ruined
was
it.
a nice kick to a dead body.
Yeah. The difficult thing is, as great as Shane was with his takedown of Vincent, he wasn't able to defend his points enough. And that's where I think Kendra really shone in this round. I haven't said anything yet.
I just like compliments.
She did a great job of both defending her choice as well as taking you guys down. And now you can celebrate because I'm officially giving you the
Well
points.
done.
There we go. Well done.
I couldn't think of any argument against Under the Mask. Genuinely speaking, it is probably the worst movie ever made.
And to your point, I probably would only watch it for Tom Hiddleston. So
No.
He said Loki.
Because the character is
Loki.
Loki. No, so the character is Loki. Tom Hiddleston's not.
But I do like that guy also was
He's
in like
Alan
those.
Richardson, right?
Yes.
No.
He was
Alan Cummings.
He was
Sorry,
the
Alan
guy
Cummings.
from Spy Kids and
Nightcrawler,
stuff, right?
Okay, so well done to both Kendra and Vincent. You guys are moving into the speed round with 2 points each. There's so much clapping. But you're moving into the speed round with 2 points each. So obviously how this is going to work, we're kind of going to nullify the points and you're going to be competing until 3 points. That's the winner. But let me explain the rules to you a little bit better. It'll be first to 3, yes. But I will ask you a question and the answers are first come, first serve. If you can't give us an answer, you forfeit the point. You will have 20 seconds each for your initial argument, followed by 15-second rebuttals.
Do we interrupt each other or?
No, you cannot interrupt each other. So this will be very much just one person speaks, other person listens. When you want to rebuttal, then that is your opportunity to attack. A winner will be decided after the rebuttals. The overall winner of Plot Armor will be the contestant with an unbeatable amount of points, which we did already discuss, will be 3.
So it's best out of 5, which means first to 3. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to ask you a question. The first thing that comes to your head, shout it out. Whoever shouts first will also be allowed to answer first. Okay, cool.
So I have time to think about my argument and my rebuttal
A little time.
Well, that's only
after
if-
I get my answer.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the very first question. What is the least practical movie car?
Herbie.
The dog in Dumb and Dumber. That big van that looks like a dog.
Kendra, start.
Herbie is yellow and he's falling apart, guys. He's a crappy old VW. I'm so sorry, VW drivers and Beetle drivers, but I mean, firstly, the shape is not cute. I know he's humanized and people love him for that, but I mean, as a car, no value. No value as a car.
Time. Well done. Good talking. good. And Vincent, your time starts now.
Your question was least practical. When you pull up to a funeral, perhaps, in that big car, you don't look like you're mourning the person who died. Speaking of Herbie, he's not yellow. He's like off-white with stripes. And he's the first smart car, the most practical. And you can have an actual conversation with him, a deep, practical conversation with him.
Time. Would you like to give your rebuttal now, Kendra?
Dogs
You're going to
are-
have to either way. And go.
Dogs are really cool, and I think that they're really great to look at. And I mean, when you look at a dog, guys, if you're an animal person, even if you're not, you automatically get happy. Why would you not want to feel happiness every time
And
you look at
time.
your vehicle and get inside it?
No, time! And Vincent, you have 15 seconds starting now.
Set the scene. You're driving a 14-hour road trip, massive clouds form, rains on your dog. You've got a wet dog smell outside and inside the car and anywhere you go from that point forward. Very unpractical.
There we go. Okay. Good answers. Good answers. I don't understand the Herbie hate.
I don't either.
I don't
I'm so
understand
sorry,
the
guys.
Herbie
I think
hate.
Herbie's so cute.
So this is how we're going to be judging this actually. So obviously how we normally do things is I will be choosing the victor along with Shane, and if we get a tiebreaker, if we disagree with who the winner should be, then we will get everybody that's standing behind the cameras, which there's a surprisingly large number of today. So they will obviously be the tiebreaker, but for this argument, I think we will both agree
The
that
dog.
it goes with Vincent. Yes.
I
So the
agree
first
also.
point goes to Vincent. Okay, the next speed round question. Remember, first come, first serve, and that is, what is the scariest villain in a non-horror film?
You said scariest villain in a non-horror film.
Scarlet Witch.
Coraline. Coraline's not even like. Okay, sorry.
Just to clarify,
Coraline is not the villain. Yes, the other mother.
Yeah.
Okay, and Vincent, will you start for us now?
What was my answer again?
Scarlet
Okay,
Witch.
so I said earlier in this episode that she has the best jump scares in any part of the Marvel movie. She snaps Professor X's neck. That's freaking scary. You don't expect it. And that made me poop my little pants. So I guess that's really scary. And she jumps out of you and she comes down the hallway.
She jumps
There's
out
so
of you?
many.
And time!
Out of you?
As,
out of
as Kendra would
Wait, what
say,
was my
we
answer?
should all know a little less about one another.
Okay. I guess that's the episode's title.
Okay, Kendra, will you please
Wait.
start in 3, 2, 1?
Guys, Coraline wasn't even a horror movie. I will come back to Scarlet Witch, but Coraline is so unnerving. That is proper nightmare fuel. What do you mean she has buttons for eyes? She is so eerie and she's got I needed more time for this. But she's literally a child stealer, guys. It's
Time.
not cute.
3, 2, 1, go.
Scarlet Witch, what makes her so scary, it's a mother who looks for her children. A mother without her children, there's nothing scarier. That's nothing that's more driven than a mother searching for her children. And if you're the thing standing in the way of that, and us as the audience were, you're gonna have
Time.
some frights.
And then Kendra, your rebuttal.
You're wrong because the other mother is a mother without kids and she's trying to take kids that aren't her own. I would argue that that's completely scarier. Also, Scarlet Witch was giving Dementor from Wish in Multiverse of Madness. I don't think that's scary at all. Plumes of black.
Time.
Oh,
weird
no.
Smoke. No.
Oh no! Oh no!
I would like to say, okay, I think both of you spoke really well for quite a tricky topic, but I have my winner in mind. Shane, who do you think won it?
Okay, I can't actually choose one because I'd say you won the first round, you won the second rebuttal, and that's how. So I'm actually going to stand out. with
Okay,
this
cool.
one.
So you're going to concede your judgment. I am going to go with Kendra for this one. I believe that you definitely gave the better rebuttal at the end to the point where I saw Vincent show fear for the first time in a debate.
I
in a very
will
long
also
time.
give Kendra this one.
Even I would give
that was me, yeah.
And when I caught the mother train, I was like,
Yeah.
you said
no,
so.
you said it, and also when you said that, I knew I lost. That's the right answer.
Question 3, first come, first serve. What is the tastiest looking meal from a movie?
Anything Studio Ghibli related. Thank you.
Including the old grannies. Vincent, you have 5, 4, 3, 2.
The chocolate ribbon, Willy Wonka.
Okay.
Okay. And Kendra, will you please start for us in 3,
Wait,
2.
what was my answer?
Everything or anything from Studio Ghibli. 3, 2, 1, go.
One of the things anime is always known for is their soundtrack, their action, and their food, guys. There's nothing like watching somebody make animated food and it looks so good, even down to the way that they eat it. I would want to even let them drink boiled water that has been cooled just because of the way that it looks in Studio Ghibli.
Okay, cool. And you didn't answer in the next 3 seconds, so it's fine. Okay,
What?
cool.
Wait,
No, she stopped really early,
okay.
but it's fine. It's Gucci. And Vincent, you have 20 seconds starting now.
So the chocolate river looked so delicious that 2 little fat boys in 2 versions of this movie drowned in it. If that's not delicious, I don't know what is. No one gave their life for food in your movies. 2 people gave their life. Thank goodness Willy Wonka is gracious and saved them, or so we think. But it's so delicious that you will give your life, you will explode for the
Time.
chocolate.
Are you ready to rebuttal? And 3, 2, 1, go.
It looks like a river that somebody had diarrhea in.
Damn, that looks tasty. Okay, and Vincent, 3, 2, 1, go.
You said everything and anything. I wouldn't eat a boat. I wouldn't eat a pig that's alive. I wouldn't
Food,
eat a girl.
food.
I wouldn't eat a
Anything
chair. I
food-related.
wouldn't eat the
They don't-
river
that
outside. I
argument's
wouldn't eat a
irrelevant.
fish woman.
Obviously, I mean
wouldn't
food.
eat a grandma. I wouldn't
Obviously,
eat
I mean meals that have been cooked.
everything
Your
else. I wouldn't
argument
eat
is
the
irrelevant.
ghost.
Time.
Just because that's what, this is why we need to know this about each
I waited my turn. I should win.
I would like to say straight off the bat that I do believe Vincent won that.
Yeah, I
Because
would
even
say so
though
as well.
I think Kendra's answer was
Way better.
way better, your
Just got
boiling
squashed.
up of it, boiling water, does not look tasty. I'm sorry.
No, I was trying something with that. I thought that if I could show that I wanted even just the boiling water, I should have chosen
It's fine, but
something
also,
else.
I will
Against
say
chocolate.
the chocolate river is a bloody good answer.
Exactly.
And 2 children drowning in it.
Yeah.
That sold me.
That was
That
a
sold
strong
me.
one.
Can I say something?
Well, Shane, what do you believe?
Also.
Okay.
Okay.
My answer was trash, but I will say the boiling water does look good, and she is correct.
No,
She's not
anything
wrong.
Studio Ghibli, I still I would die on
For
that
some
hill.
reason, the boiling water actually
There's
looks good,
something
yeah.
about food in anime like movies.
No, I agree with you. It's just
I know. I have
Your
my
argument
delivery.
wasn't
My
good.
delivery. I thought you guys were gonna be sold on it regardless. Chocolate river.
It looks disgusting. I wouldn't touch
It,
that
I
chocolate.
know, and I love
Especially it's got
chocolate.
dead bodies
It
in
looks
it.
disgusting.
With the dead bodies,
dead bodies
And
in it.
especially
contaminating them.
the one from the first Willy Wonka movie does look like diarrhea. It looks disgusting.
Well, let's not talk about poop anymore. Vincent has spoken about poop and buttholes
Buttholes.
too much in this episode. We will make sure that does not
My
happen moving
wife is in
forward.
the room.
In episode. Now for question 4.
4. Episode 4.
Then you don't get a point.
Good answer.
You don't get a point.
Do you want to stick with that?
Is that your final answer?
No, okay, I said nothing. Continue.
Okay. So question 4. Which action star throws the weakest looking punches?
Timothy Chalamet.
Action star? This was. Oh my god.
1.
Big Hero 6. No, that's not my answer.
Can I say something else? It's fine.
3.
Wait, question. Please repeat the question.
Okay, yep. I will read it to you one more time, and you have exactly 1 second. You don't have any time. Okay, and the question is, which action star throws the weakest looking punches? Time.
Anne Hathaway.
Let her have it.
Anne Hathaway.
Because
Wait,
Vince,
what's the score? What's the score?
the score is currently 2-1.
Okay, cool.
Because Vincent is a gracious guest, you are allowed to compete. Otherwise, he would have won everything there.
Crazy.
Vincent, you are going to start in 3, 2, 1.
I would rather fight a grandmother than Timothy Chalamet. He should not be throwing punches, period. He should be throwing intellect around because he's a man who reads books and cries about them. You're not going to fight him and lose. You're not going to fight him and lose. You're not going to fight him and lose. And you're not going to fight him and lose. Nobody's going to fight and lose against the man who cried his way through Dune 2 and 1.
Time. Good start. And Kendra, you may begin.
Anne Hathaway is known for her intellectual prowess as an actor, and she always chooses such mentally strong characters in all her movies, including Princess Diaries. She's not a fighter, it's not her brand, and also she has very
Time.
weak arms.
Okay?
Vincent, you can begin.
She played Catwoman and she did so convincingly. Her only power was fighting hand-to-hand combat. So I would not go against her. Timothy Chalamet's only power is SNL skits and a little pout he does to
Tom.
be cute.
Okay, just confirm the question was weakest punch.
Weakest looking punch.
Weakest looking punch. Fantastic. Okay.
Start now. Now you can start. Speak 5 seconds. Go.
So, to your point about Timothy Chalamet, he's very nimble, and I think that he's very athletic. Tom Holland doesn't look like he can throw a punch either, but I mean, look at Spider-Man. And to your point of Anne Hathaway being Catwoman, she's agile. She doesn't have a weak. She doesn't have a strong punch. There's no
Timothy
power.
Chalamet is not Tom Holland.
I'm equating. They have similar likeness.
Don't worry, I tried to do that as well, and it backfired again.
They have similar likeness. Hear me out. Similar likeness.
Similar likeness does not a victor make. And with that,
That's what I'm naming my daughter. Similar likeness. Okay, continue.
I wish I could take away points for bad jokes. And with that being said, Vincent is this episode's main character. Woo!
I'm glad Shane didn't ever say that one.
No, I was saying because
He forgot. But I'm glad. Yay!
So I would like to say
You did well.
I would like to say well done to absolutely everybody. This was honestly an emotional
Intense.
episode. Holy
I'm going to go
smokes.
cry after this.
Yeah, no, I have a huge headache. This hosting was a lot more chaotic
name's
than I
Vincent.
expected it to be. But yes, I think everyone across the board was great. Guys, thank you so much. This is our second ever episode of Plot Armor, and we are having an absolutely amazing time. I just want to say, this is an opportunity for you guys to shout yourselves out. Not you, Vincent. Not you.
I just live on his channel.
He just lives on my channel. But Shane, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right, so I'm not a debater, clearly. I will never win these games anyway. But anyway, it's still great to be part of it. What I do is we create fight scenes, we create movies. We've got a stunt team. I've also got a channel that I interview different characters from around the world or different actors from around the world. And in a nutshell, I'm a jack of all trades and hopefully a master of some.
Fantastic. And then Kendra, what do you want people to know about you? Where can they find you and what do you do?
Cool. So thanks, guys. I'm Kendra. If you haven't already realized at this point, I am a content creator. You guys can find me at House of Kendi across all my platforms. You do spell it quite weirdly, but I'm sure they'll add the stuff in post somewhere around here. So yeah, I do all things lifestyle, fashion, and beauty. Come to my page if you love nice things. And I also work in marketing as well. So if you're a YouTuber looking to upskill, you know where to find me.
Awesome.
Cool. And then we just want to have a few final thank yous. We want to say thank you so much to Tibadine for honestly some amazing mocktails.
Incredible.
They are finished. So thank you so much for that. I also really want to thank JJ who did the caricatures. Which you can see. Caricatures, which are awesome as always. So thank you so much for that, JJ.
Very close, likely.
It looks identical.
I love it.
Yes. And then finally, I just want to thank God because honestly, none of this would be possible without Him. All of the equipment, all of the provision that came was a response of God. And so we just really want to thank Him for that and continue to lay down the episodes in service of Him. Thank you so much for watching this episode, guys, and we hope to see you in the next one. Welcome to the Battlegrounds.